today. I'm on headphones,
Hiya.
but he's not feeling well, and so he wanted to listen. Okay. The sixth quality of somebody who has bitachon, we're on page 65. Recognize the great kindness that God bestows on his people and how he began to be so kind and good at the beginning of our formation in the womb of our mother, before we're even deserving of it, and without God needing him, rather out of his generosity and goodness and kindness as he does so. As it said in the gate of examination, that King David in Blessed Mary says, "You have done great things, O Lord. Your wonders, your thoughts are for us. There is none equal to you. Were I to tell or speak of your wonders, they would be too many to tell." And I'm just going to acknowledge that even with the craziness, as we spoke of, I am staying in the limo that God is driving, and I just might choose to take a nap today in the back seat and just, clean up after myself, do some laundry, teach the class. We're doing internal cleaning our mind. But anything else is a little bit beyond me today but I know at the same time, the sky is, the sky is blue. Everyone in the country is in it together. There's nobody like, I'm above what's going on right now. There's no Jew in the world that's above what's going on right now. We're all in it together.
Can I just share a thought that I had
Yes.
as well about this
Yes.
situation that all of us are going through? Seems to me like this roller coaster of like, it's really dark, and then sort of coming out for a short burst of air and going back in again, like literally Chevle Mashiach, birth pangs. But I read somewhere about the sphera that we're counting of the Omer being symbolic of the places that we travel to on the way to the promised land. So if you think about the meaning of that, where each place that they went to, they had to stop and they were just stuck there. And some of the places were really bitter. One of them was even called bitterness because it was so bitter. Yeah. And until they took the thing that they were needed from there, the cloud wouldn't lift. And so what I took from that was that it's not about, oh, we can't wait to get out of here. Why isn't the cloud lifting? Let it lift already. We need God to lift it right now. Rather breathe into it and accept that this is a part of the journey that's needed. And even this dark is good, is getting us there. It's part of that. And when we've processed those feelings in that dark place and the cloud lifts, we'll emerge more ready and more ready and more ready for that promised land, and more able to have the vessel to hold all the blessings that are coming. So it's not that we're trying to get out of the darkness. No, the darkness is part of the light. The shadow is part of the process of revealing the hidden light. So that blew me away. And I just thought, yeah,
that's
beautiful.
Really beautiful. Yeah,
beautiful. And that's very close to what he's saying here in the seventh quality. It should be clear to the person that all things in existence in this world, both those that are essential, referring to beings and objects themselves that were brought into creation, and those that are incidental, referring to the events that happen to those objects and beings. So that's super deep. Let's go back to that in a second. Have a clear and defined limit. And it is impossible to add or subtract from the limit that God, may he be blessed, has decreed. A person cannot change an object's quantity, quality, time, or place. He cannot increase that which has been decreed to be few, nor can he decrease that which has been decreed to be many. Similarly, a person will not be able to delay something that has been decreed to be early, nor is he able to hasten something that has been decreed to be delayed. A person has no control over how long he will live, how much money he will earn, or when something will happen. Everything is in God's hands. Although a person often seems to have influence over what will happen, it's not really true. As the author continues, that which does happen in this manner has been decreed by the Creator from the very beginning of creation. And although sometimes we do see new, strange, and unexpected things, those things were also decreed by God by the beginning of time. So just one line here that's really very striking, that there are things that are essential in this world. And that's beings and objects themselves, which Hashem brought into creation. That's you, all of you guys, and me, we, and all the teachers, and all the students, and all the people in the country, and all the people in the world. We are essential. And then there are things that are incidental, events that happen to those objects and beings. And even those incidental things have clear and defined limits. You can't add, you can't subtract, you can't hurry, you can't slow. And I think we'd sit with that for a minute, and that even though all that's true, most of the time, we're not supposed to go to sleep in the back seat of the limo, as we discussed earlier. We're supposed to be making the phone calls, going through the emotions. And sometimes it's okay to say, you know what, it's not going to make a difference. I was saying I need to make these certain appointments, and I've been trying to get around making them. And I said to my husband, I feel this like sense of guilt that I haven't done it already. And at the same time, trust that if it was really had to be done, then it would have worked out and I would have had it done already. It's not in the end going to make a difference that it was delayed. And yet I feel this frustration over the fact that I haven't done it yet, or I'm not doing it today when I have the time. And he said to me, right, you can't rush it. It's going to go through. You're going to make the right choice of the right doctor at the right price to make an appointment for, and it will all go through at the right time. And like you were just saying, Shulamit, you know, sometimes you have to stay in a place longer than you think is that you want to or feels comfortable. And sometimes we can process that and get the lesson out of it. And sometimes we just need to rest and trust that, okay, we're just waiting here. And the lesson is going to be revealed to us if we just stay present and we show up to class. A great job. God is the ultimate and only cause. Simply the prior decree of God that were in the foreknowledge of the Creator, that were decreed in such a way they have direct causes for their occurrence, and those causes have prior causes. Meaning that Hashem has chosen to bring Mashiach. And that direct cause will have many prior causes and steps and stops and things that have to happen for that direct cause that he is causing to happen. And so
can I stop?
Please.
Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
That is when you first said that we can't hasten it. If it was meant to be slow, we can't hasten it, and we can't make it go slower if it was what made. So that was what I was thinking about, is Mashiach. So I had always heard, Hashem has a plan of when Mashiach is coming, but we can hasten it. So how are we rectifying that?
I don't think it's anything that we need to rectify. It's saying that Hashem has decreed that Mashiach's going to come. And that has causes and causes and prior causes. And we are a part of that, right? Like she said, like we can get the lesson. And it's not that we're hastening something that he decreed. It says he decreed in two, we believe, like, in quantum mechanics and multiple realities, he decreed both. He decreed that it could come early, and he decreed that it can come late. And late doesn't mean that it comes late. It means that the impetus for his arrival starts from above versus from below. That he makes us want it so much that then we make it happen, or we generate within ourselves the desire to have it so much we make it happen. Right?
Okay, so I need to go back and listen to what you just said about 100 times. Okay, thank you.
Is that clear?
I think so. Yes. So that is like something that I've never considered. I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm. Because in the end, we, like, Hashem brings him, but we make him the Mashiach. We have to do the stuff. He doesn't get crowned Mashiach until after everything's done already.
They say he's pretty much here always in every generation. It's just us being ready to receive it because we can't see him when we're not there.
It's and so, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's great. And I love when we are all like part of the conversation. It makes class so much better. Okay. However, someone who doesn't contemplate the manner in which the world is run, when he sees a change in reality, he will think that the new cause that forces the change in reality, and they're being turned from one matter to another. Okay. So today, how all of a sudden did a rocket hit Ben Gurion? How is that even possible, right? How many times has They've gone overhead and the thing, but we would think the Houthis have developed some new technology. Something new has happened in the world. Nothing new has happened. There is no new cause. It's just God moving everybody along to whatever needs to be happening next. Because the cause that we would say is too weak and too insignificant to be the reason for a change, right? You would say the Houthis, what really power do they have that they all of a sudden could change this or they could do anything better than they've ever done before? No, they can't. They're way too insignificant and powerless. Obviously, this is all from Hashem. Okay? And we could take that into whatever stress we're all feeling in our own lives. You know, why can't I find the right doctor at the right price? Why is it only like everything like has appointments only in 2 years or this, or I have to pay exorbitant amounts of money privately? Like, it can't be the economy, and it can't be that just there's so many kids in the system right now that getting an appointment, like, no, those are the causes of the causes of the causes that are also making sure that every individual kid is going to end up at the exact place that they need to be, including my kid, because only God can hold all the individuals and the global all at once, and we can't even really comprehend and understand it. The same way, how do we really understand that a single grain of wheat produces 300 ears of wheat, and each ear of grain has 30 grains, so that one grain is the cause of 10,000 grains? How is there anybody in the country, in the world, that's still hungry and there's food being thrown away? So obviously that's not the cause and the effect. It is not apparent to a person's mind that the grain is too weak to be able to produce such a massive quantity. The same applies to all other seeds that are sown and planted. And seeds also, refers to our good deeds and our thoughts and our feelings. We don't understand how, and it doesn't make sense that our words can shape someone's life. One compliment, one criticism, right, can have such an effect on another human being. How one act of kindness can have such an effect. How one Torah class can have such an effect. How one thing we read on one day can change our perspective. That thing itself is too weak. It's because we allow it, Hashem allows this process of being grown and planted and puts into our very being this power, that it's really all from Him. Just as we say regarding the creation of human beings and other creatures, which are created from a drop of seed, the power of, the genetics. And yet we know that epigenetics are as important as genetics. Epigenetics is how you think and feel and react in your nervous system that turns on and off certain genes. And how our reactions could have as much impact as the actual seed of our genetics.
Wow.
This is also evidence from the fact that a large fish is created from an egg, right? All of this that we take for granted as part of science really makes no sense if you take out the divine intelligence in the creation of the world. Although created beings seem to have the power to change the quantity and quality of other creative beings, like having babies, in truth, everything is a result of God's will. The created beings that seem like the cause of the changes that we witness are merely agents that God uses for that purpose. It therefore follows that when a person feels stress because of his financial needs and overexerts himself in his efforts to provide for himself, it is due to a lack of understanding of God and how He runs the world. Remember, not exert, overexert. Right? The exertion itself is a vehicle for good and transformation and creativity and purpose and fulfillment and meaning and gratitude and appreciation. But overexertion, as so many of us are experiencing, and overwhelm, when we're not overexerting, we're overwhelmed. So, we know not to overexert, but we still haven't mastered the not to be overwhelmed.
I would love to have a rule of thumb, like a safe word, a code word for, okay, I'm in the overexertion zone now. Because as an ADHD person, I tend to hyperfocus. And then when I start doing something, it has to be perfectionist and I start to obsess. And there's a fine line between, really, because in the past when I've done an application for something, I've thought, okay, do you know what? I've done the best I can. It's maybe not perfect. It's good enough. And I've sent it. And then they're like, yeah, it's not good enough. So that might just be that I have to still trust that that wasn't the right thing for me. Or how do I know when it's time to literally try harder? Like it's difficult to know. There's no
It's
rule
really
of thumb.
difficult to know. It's
Yeah.
really difficult to know. It's really difficult to know. And I think it's the most powerful question because especially when I'm in overwhelm, that's when I'm not sure if I'm overexerting or underexerting. And I think that's really the answer, right? While we're in a triggered space, while we're in fight, flight, freeze, appease, we're not doing our best work.
Do you not think that every single one of us in this generation are in a state of that?
I think we are.
In some shape or form, we kind of are. Even
But
when
I
I'm
think that
regulated, I'm conscious of the white noise in the background of war. Anytime I hear a motorbike, I think, could it be a siren? Any little thing that comes on the news, I like, what now? We all are a bit hyper.
I think it's true, 100%. But I do think that, as you know, there are tools that help us to increase our regulation. And I think that we're not only feeling our own dysregulation, I think we're feeling generations of Jewish dysregulation that was overfunctioned and overexerted. and our generation is seeing the results of that. And I think that as long as we're putting effort into regulating ourselves, then we're not overexerting. I think when we choose to not work on that.
Yeah, I think for me, agree. To make at least one or two efforts to use one or two tools and try. And if it's not working, then my go-to thing is just ask Hashem and just say,
yeah,
look, I've done this, I've done that. I'm not sure if I've done enough, but I think I have. And just kind of give it to you now to sort me out and make sure that
exactly.
guide my actions and my words and my thoughts today.
Exactly. And try to find that, I'm so grateful that this isn't an emergency at this moment. I mean, I feel the impending emergency, but actually in the present moment, it's not an emergency.
Yeah, right.
And so when we're in that space of bitachon, we allow, I think, more things to happen. And I think he's going to elaborate on this here, and we should continue this conversation with the next section here on page 69. When a person troubles himself with efforts to provide for his financial needs or any other needs, to hasten that which the Creator may be exalted is decreed should be delayed, or to delay that which he has decreed should be hastened, or by trying to produce many of that which has been decreed to be few, or trying to produce few of that which has been decreed should be many, regarding the matters of the world, with the exception of those that are necessary for the advancement of observance of mitzvot and the study of Torah. It is due to the weak understanding of our foreknowledge of God. And I think we could be a little compassionate and acknowledge that we have a very weak understanding of the foreknowledge of God. He has the foreknowledge and we do not. We have a very weak understanding. And so we might be trying to delay that which he decided should be hastened, but we don't know that. We don't know if we're just hastening, we're just doing it at his pace. And so when we're, I think, making efforts that are aligned, and it's sometimes hard, sometimes we're not going to be online. Sometimes it just regulation just doesn't feel available. Like it just feels like, okay, I just have to sit through the discomfort and try not to do negative coping mechanisms and not to sabotage. And that's the win. Okay. The win isn't going to be getting to a bliss state today. Who knows? Only God knows what was decided at the beginning. And so it's due to our lack of understanding. And we have to move into this place of trusting the inherent goodness in which God conducts himself with a person. Because in truth, everything God does is for our good. Even this process of becoming dysregulated. Let's have that conversation for a minute. Stacy, yoga, Ruth, I know you're into a lot of different things that go on. Shulamit, you're a licensed, certified, excellent expert coach. What good has ever come out of being dysregulated?
So can I take that question
Please.
and give you my
Yeah.
answer? It's something I'm
And I'll
working
go
out in my
next.
head right now, given what I said before about finding the gift in the shadow. Every single time, without exception, that I enter the dark night of the soul, and I'm sure each one of us has their own definition of what that means for them, but for me, it's such darkness that it feels like I can't breathe. It's so dark. And every time I go in there, I think this cannot be good. Like, no, 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 no. I resist it with every fiber of my being. And yet, when I finally stop fighting and trying to find all the tools, I need this tool and that tool. Let me try breath work. Let me try meditation. Let me try a show Bitachon class. Let me try. And it's all it's coming from is me trying to run away from the gift of the actual shadow that God has given me. It just makes it longer. And when I surrender and say, Hashem, I do not know what this thing is, but please come and sit here with me and hold my hand. I let go of all the tools and that's all. And I just sit there. And I think one of the most beautiful things that I've ever learned in the tools is it's called internal family systems. And it means that when you get pain, you think, where is the pain in your body? You know about this, Lily, I'm sure. Where is it and what's it saying? What's the message? And then try and describe what little part of you. Describe, is it a little girl? Is it a warrior trying to protect you? Is it a victim? Is it a survivor? Like, what's it trying to do and what's it trying to protect? And then you find all the little parts around that. Then they start having a conversation. And then suddenly, even in the dark, there's like a theatre and you're watching all these parts talking to each other. It becomes really interesting. And then in that dark theatre, it's like, when they switch off the lights and the curtains are down.
It's the movie Emoji is based on this.
Literally, I did this tool before even knowing about it because I'm very creative and I used to do little cartoons of myself at the back of a brown notebook. And there was something called like Frantic Frida or Bullying Brenda. And I used to call them names of little parts of me and give them voices. And it used to make me laugh and not take myself so seriously. But the minute I started doing that, I started to be able to breathe. And then, strangely, my whole body felt lighter. And then the shadow lifts. And then you're like, huh, I don't have a solution, but I'm sure there is one and it'll come. And it's like the same situation, but you feel able to cope with anything. And I think when you process darkness in that way, knowing that you don't need to rush to the light, you just need to sit in the dark and presence it and like hug it. It's like a funny way to say it, but it's like this little one needs love. And like somebody told me this morning, it was my Rebbetzin, Joanna. She was talking about Rachel and Leah. And she said, Yaakov had to love Rachel and Leah. What do they represent? They're the two sides of us. Rachel was the one who came from passionate love. I love. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I'm going to marry Yaakov. And Leah was like, oh my God, everything is terrible. I'm going to cry all my life because I think I'm going to have to marry Esav. Oh no, what's going to happen? And it's not like we only get to love Rachel. We need to love both of those little ones inside of us. The one who's so excited and the one who's scared she's going to be disappointed. Both of them are holy. Both of
I
them
think,
are mothers. Yeah.
isn't that exactly what he just said before? That we are the essential being and the things are incidental.
Yeah. The situations are just triggers to bring out that part of us that needed love. And this is all about this Mashiach, bringing Mashiach is all about loving all the parts of us. There's a book about this
And each
system
other.
called No Bad Parts. I think it's called No Bad Parts. And it's the most incredible book. I'm listening to it on audio. And every chapter at the end has exercises that you can do. And as I do them,
Beautiful.
I literally sense myself healing. And this is literally what you're talking about and Shari Bitachon is talking about. This is sacred work.
And
Yeah.
I want to also say something.
Please.
That was beautiful, Shulamit. And it's beautiful. I have a that probably makes you a very awesome, healer, that of your perspective, because I think we're all empaths and healers. in our own way. So we each have a modality that we work with people, that, you know, this whole concept of, you know, so what do I do? You know, looking at myself, you know, when I went through the most horrible divorce, first marriage and divorce, and getting remarried right now, you know, I have a very interesting perspective right now. I feel like this second marriage is a tikkun for my first. And, you know, when I think about the times that I would be distraught teaching a yoga class, but still I went on. All these years, I still continued to teach, even when I was a mess inside. And what I feel is that I now have the ability to show others that through the darkness, you know, that one can heal through the darkness, that it's not all or nothing, that you don't just, we're not trying to chase the pink clouds. We're not, that's not the point of life. And that we can transform those dark moments. We can rise up from them. We can recreate ourselves. We can, you know, and so that's what I feel. That's, you know, okay, I'm like, okay, Hashem, you know, like, are my dark times over? You know, that would be really cool. That would be really
Amen. So
cool.
may it be.
Amen. Right? So, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, we as healers and teachers, and we're, you know, people look towards us. We have an opportunity to show everyone how we go through them, so that, you know, like I listened to you at the beginning of class. It was a very important thing that you were sharing, and you didn't record it because you thought maybe that's not part of the class. But guess what? It actually is part of the class, because I learned from you. Even when you're in your dark moments, I learn how you're coping. I learn what you're thinking about. I learn how you process things. And so, yeah, that's.
Thank you so much. I think that was a perfect place to finish and to continue next week. Ruth, I hope you had a good, safe drive, and we will see you guys next week. I like this new format with the study guide. Tell me if you guys liked it, if you looked at it. And
Are we finishing now?
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap up. This was a good place to stop. I think it's a good place to stop, but you can still make it to part of your thing, part of your.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Lily.
Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.
Amazing, as always.
Okay.
Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.